This is good because I think everyone has, or should be, you know, fed up of virtue signaling rich celebrities. I think because it happens too often, doesn't it? It's as long as I can remember, they're always banging on about something, you know, trying to prove who's the most righteous. I've got this money. Look at me. Like, why is Angelina Jolie, you know, like why does she have a role in the UN, like for human rights? Like, what? Why? What credentials does she have apart from just being famous? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird thing. And these celebrities, I know they've got a lot of money and delusions of grandeur, so they're like, well, I can do that. Do you know, I'm bored. Bored of making movies. I've got millions. I'm going to go fly. This is how Richard Gere speaks. And I'm going to fly to a migrant boat and sit amongst the migrants and show their plight. I'm going to look at the camera like that. You know, we're kind of done with this shit, isn't it? Isn't this fakery? Are we done with this kind of fakery? It's just fake. It's whack. It's delusional. It's narcissistic. That's all it is. You know, because of the debate becomes so strong, because when we see people in plight who are less fortunate than us, it's very easy for us to go, oh, Richard Gere's a good person, isn't it? It's all self-serving. The majority, you've got to get into your heads. It'll make you a happier person when you understand that everyone is very much self-serving. It's all about self. You know, you rarely come into people's thoughts. You know, when you think someone's thinking about you all the time, like when people think about haters, even haters, like aren't thinking about you that much. They just sort of talk about you a lot openly, but they're probably not thinking about you that much. You know, and if they are, then you know they're not very well. So it's self-service. Now it depends. Now self-service can be good because it can be beneficial, but I don't know how beneficial this is. You know what I mean? There's someone who becomes a proper philanthropist or whatever, you know, goes out there and, you know, if you want to virtue signal and show people how bloody great you are and selfless and righteous, and you take a year out of your life and go live with some pygmies and dig a well, you know, go ahead and do it. That's fine because that's doing something. But this kind of thing, which we see far too often, is just like, oh, just shut up, would you? If someone comes up to you and says, well, like, you know what I did? I flew out to a migrant boat and just think out of the point of view that it's someone you know as regular folk, right? And it's someone you know who comes up and says it to you. Think about it like that. It's not Richard Gere. It's someone who's one of your friends, some guy you know, or some girl, some gal. Just come up and says, you know, I flew out to the migrant boat and I sat with the migrants and, you know, I listened to their stories and these remarkable, brave people. After BAM! Shut up. Shut it. My God, you're so full of yourself. Will you shut the fuck up? It's not to try to get drunk here, you idiot. That's how it is. Life is unfair. Fuck you. So, it's kind of good when you get we live in a time of some shit-talking world leaders. You know, got that Hungarian geezer. You got Duterte, whatever his name is, in the Philippines. Obviously, you got Trump. And now you got the Italian. It's the deputy prime minister. I think the Italians are probably the best. Got a whole bunch of shit talkers in power going, shut up. Like, it's crazy. It's good though. Like, even if you disagree with their policies and what they're doing and you're worried about it, blah, blah, blah. But the fact that you got ones out there just going, shut up, would you? To these pompous assholes, can only be beneficial for humanity as far as I can see it. He can take them to Hollywood on his private jet. Because the thing is, it is an easy thing to say. But, what was that? I don't remember turning that off vibrate. Well, I'm not restarting this, I'm in my flow. Because it is an easy thing to say, you know, why don't you, you know, because you're a millionaire. You've probably got lots of properties. You've got a private jet. I'm sure you could sort these people out. I mean, they're not used to eating that much. Yeah, they're used to quite a humble lifestyle. You could probably provide. But it would actually be quite easy for you. Like, you could take, there's probably some initiative where you could turn people from migrants into, like, people who can legitimately come to a country for a different reason. You could set up some initiative that bypasses and saying, oh no, they're going to come work in my sweatshop, in my basement, or something like that. I don't know. Italian Deputy PM Matteo Salvini hits back at Richard Gere after the actor criticised nation for its refusal to accept migrants stranded in the Mediterranean. Italy's Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini has issued a stunning rebuke to actor. I don't think it's that stunning. It's what people should say to Richard Gere, who criticised the country's refusal to let in more than 100 migrants stranded at sea. Golden Globe winner. Yet, like, we need to know that. Alright, he can act. He's recognised for his acting abilities. Brilliant. Richard Gere visited a boat with 121 migrants on board in international waters near the Italian island of Lampedusa. The Hollywood star was pictured delivering food supplies to the migrants on board, who have been rescued by Spanish NGO Open Arms. In a barb to Italy and his own leader, President Trump, he said, demonizing people has to stop everywhere on the planet. Okay. Well, it's quite easy to say when you say demonizing people has to stop everywhere. Yet you are also demonizing world leaders for policies that they think will serve the people. Just throwing it out there. Not that I agree with it or disagree with it. I'm just saying. You are doing the same thing. Anyway, he said these are extraordinary people. They are so strong. They have been such through such horrors. I think that's a typo there. They have been through such horrors. Their passage from their home countries, counties. Alright, there's too many mistakes in this. Because now you're saying they're from the home counties. Well, people from the home counties aren't refugees, my friend. They're probably London refugees these days. So, maybe it makes sense. Anyway, home countries to Libya. And they had to endure the women above all. The women had been all raped. Is this legitimately how he was quoted? Is this how he's talking? Is he that old? The women had been all raped. He's talking like a child. Multiple times. The men tortured in prison, not just once, but multiple times. What most people would refer to as migrants, I refer to as refugees that are running from a fire. Do you know, I just can we just say they're just people, like, whatever. Like, I mean, who really knows anyway? So, the right-wing League leader, Matteo Salvini, whose party topped the polls in the recent European elections, hit back and urged Gere to support them in his villas. Salvini said, given the generous millionaire is voicing concern for the fate of the open arms migrants, we thank him. He can take back to Hollywood on his private plane all the people aboard and support them in his villas. Thank you, Richard. And I think the point is, you know, because you talk about, I mean, Italy hasn't got, like, Italy's kind of known for having a sort of iffy economy. Italy's not totally stable in terms of, you know, and it is interesting to me. I mean, I don't know a terrible amount about Italy, but what I do know is it's kind of like, it's a majority working class country, over 50%. And they've got a peasant culture still. And you know what I mean? As in, it's very high regard. So, like, the majority of the people are working class people, are not rich people. And it's always been the thing that those are the ones that suffer the most through mass immigration. And we're not talking about immigration, we're talking mass immigration here. Because we haven't seen the levels. Because people, and I used to do it too before I sort of thought, you know, started doing some thinking instead. When you look at immigration, like, Britain has had immigration for as long as we know, you know, for a long time. And yes, they were demonized. But we didn't have the levels of mass immigration that we've seen across Europe ever before. This is, like, totally new. Just the volume of it is completely different. You know, I remember when I first heard about under the Labour government, how many people were coming in a year? It was something like, at one point, it was like 300,000 a year. And and all you had to say was going, oh, that's a lot of people. Where are they going and what are they doing? Because especially when you got people you know who can't get a job. Do you see what I'm saying? They're like, well, they can't get a job, so what are they going to do? Like, what the fuck are they going to do when they get here? Because if it doesn't make sense, why do it? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, we have to do something. It's like, well, yeah. You know, as people of the world and as people of compassion and so forth, yeah, of course. You know, try and do something. But, like, you got to look at it from a realistic point of view. Some people just don't think it's their problem or whatever. There's just... So Italy's interesting, but they're just like, you know, the people have had enough of this kind of thing, and I'm just going to say no. I'm just going to say no. And think about it on the other, from the different point of view. The different point of view is, it's not, governments speak for the people. That's why a lot of them get in power. Now, if you have a situation where the majority of your country are less than welcoming to massive amount of immigration, doesn't it kind of make sense to not let them in regards to, you can't just tell the people, oh, just be nice, would you? Like, they're like, no, you work for us, we pay our fucking taxes, and we don't want it no more. Because if there's going to be rising hostilities towards immigrants and mass immigration, then probably it is a good idea to sort of curb the immigration. Otherwise you're going to have fucking problems. Because you are going to have wars between people, between immigrants and nationals. Doesn't it make sense to go, alright, we shouldn't be, you know, the people have said they don't like this. And maybe it's maybe it's for everyone's better, you know, maybe it's for the greater good that we don't let this happen. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, say there's an island with nubile women, and you let in all the horny people, the nubile women. I don't even know what I'm saying. I don't know. Say you got an island full of dogs and you let people in who love bestiality and fuck all the dogs, and the dogs are like, we don't want this. No, you'll just have to be nice. That's terrible. That would get totally taken out of context that well. Fuck it, it's funny. But the fact is like, if the people voice their opinion and go, we don't really want this, and they go, but people's immediate reaction is, oh, people need to be more understanding, people need to do this, you know, we must treat people like this. Yeah, it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. You're talking about people. It's about fucking people. Like, everyday people. You don't have, you know, the ones who don't like the people that want closed borders. You got all these people that are ignorant, blah, 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 they're all this, they're all that. We should just reprogram their brains. It's like, well, you're the same way. You're a person too. You ain't better than them. You ain't worse than them. You're just different. What, we should reprogram your brain? No. Perhaps it just comes to a time when the government just goes, is it worth it? It's the same way, I look at it the same way when they wouldn't let in some of those journalists like Lauren Southern and whatever. Because they'd gone to, the fact is, I can see it from the government's perspective, they'd gone to Luton, had something like, what if Allah is gay? The thing is with tensions, is that the government often is like, yeah, we don't need this. Have you seen what's happened? Little girls got blown up. Can you not go around? Can you just leave Luton alone? Because Luton's like a hotbed for that shit. Because because obviously because Tommy Robinson and blah 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 blah, and a lot, there's a lot of naughty shit in Luton in terms of all that sort of stuff on both sides. And it's like, can you just not stoke this fire up? You're not allowed in because you didn't. You're gonna have to play by the rules. You're gonna have to play by the rules here. You can't come in and be stoking up tensions like this. Right? It's the government's right to kind of do that. It's what's best for the people. If they think there's tensions amongst people, then they will do things to stop those tensions from escalating. It's not all about the fear of the other and the hatred of the other and whatever. There's nuances to it as well. When people are generally looking around and going, this might kick off, If something's going to kick off, if you think something's going to flare up and kick off, it's a very responsible attitude to go, right, well, let's stop feeding this fire and let it simmer down. Sometimes it's what you kind of want a government to do, really, because the main aim is to protect, to make sure everyone's okay. Like, not all governments are completely self-serving. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, all right, the people don't want this. We want our government to function properly. We want a stable nation. How's it going to become unstable? Well, there's a lot of sentiment against immigration at the moment. A lot of people have made their voices heard. We've listened to them. And instead of everyone going, no, you mustn't do this because you're xenophobic, you're this, and this. Who cares with their reasoning for it? At the end of the day, forget the fucking reasons for it, whereas ignorance, or just hatred of themselves, or whatever it is, if it's going to cause a massive problem, then maybe it's a better solution. Just go, no, you can't come in. You know what I mean? Like a bouncer. I've seen something, I remember, like, those late night shows about bouncers. And they have these rugby boys. They're big, they're coming up to a gay club. And these clearly, big hetero men. And the bouncer at the door is just like, no, you can't come in. It's like, oh, why don't you let me in? It's like, I don't think you're coming in here with the best reasons. I think you're going to come in here to do something. Like, and you may be making assumptions about someone. It's like, yeah, fucking hell, I'm not doing that. How dare you talk to me like that? But, like, they have to make the decision. It's their job to, like, assess something and go, is this worth it? Is it better that I just have an argument with you now for 10 minutes and then you fuck off? Or in about an hour's time, when you call someone, and when you do something a bit rough to a homosexual, then we're going to have to start brawling when you're mad drunk, and it's going to be a lot of effort. And people are going to be upset. Isn't it better if I just upset you now and maybe it's for the bad reason? Maybe. I've been drinking this for a long time. Anyway, Salvini is tipped by many Italian pollsters to win a possible election which could be called when Italy's parliament returns after recess. He is currently in a coalition with left-wing party Five Star, whose performance in the European elections slumped to 17%, compared to Salvini's League Party, which took 34% of the vote. A new Italian law permits fines of up to €1 million against the owners of rescue ships operated by non-profit groups that enter Italy's waters without permission. The law is Interior Minister Matteo Salvini's most recent action to stop aid groups rescue ships, which he claims encourage people smuggling from North Africa and burden Italy with asylum seekers. Salvini said he signed orders specifically banning the open arms and the Norwegian-flagged migrant rescue ship Ocean Viking from Italian territory. He told state broadcaster RAI, at the time, Italy is not a refugee camp for Europe. Go either to Spain or Norway. So there you go. I've covered a few different areas of that. But bringing it back to the main story, it's like, good on him. Fuck him. I fuck Richard Gere. I've got nothing against him, but it's like, just shut up, man. And we know what you're doing. Like, have you really thought this through? You see, just from reading that and thinking about it, I came up with all that. I was like, maybe it's this. And people don't do that no more, do they? They just see good and bad, good and evil. Like, the world has become like a fucking Harry Potter book. And that's for kids, boy. It's for kids. I don't care if they make covers for adults so they don't look stupid on a bus. You're still reading Harry Potter, bro.